Hello to everyone that is joining us here today. I'm Rebecca Radice, Global Brand Ambassador for Post Planner, a social media engagement tool designed to help you triple your social media engagement. And we are just super excited to have you here today. I am, like I said, Global Brand Ambassador for Post Planner, award winning blogger, social media strategist, author of How to Use Social Media to Virtually Crush the Competition. And you can find me on Pinterest, on Twitter, Instagram, anywhere you look at Rebecca Radice. And then also make sure to follow Post Planner as well. We have a lot of great information here for you today, and I am just super excited to be joined by Melissa Meganson. And Melissa, she is marketing manager and resident cat lady, which totally cracks me up at Tailwind. She's a content creator, social media, blogging, and PR. She has her hands in just about everything over at Tailwind. I think you're a lady wearing many hats, correct,
Lots of
Melissa?
hats. Lots and lots of hats.
Lots and lots of hats. You can find her at Mel Meg, and that's with two G's, and then Tailwind app as well. So make sure and connect with Melissa, connect with Tailwind. As you're going to see here today, if you are not connected already with Tailwind, Melissa has just a wealth of information to share with you about Pinterest, about how Tailwind can really help you improve what you're doing over there on Pinterest, and how to really level up your game as far as Pinterest is concerned. So, just a few housekeeping items before we dive in and get started. First of all, don't forget to use our hashtag. We're all creating that conversation over there on Twitter as we're chatting here about Pinterest. The hashtag is Pinterest Hacks. Make sure to clear off your desk, shut down all those tech toys. I know we all have a million gadgets, but it's very easy to get distracted, to feel as if you have to get, sucked into responding to that latest email. But we would love it if you are just fully engaged here with us today. As I said, we're going to have just a lot of great information coming at you, and would definitely love to have you fully engaged and tweeting out all of that great information. And then grab a pen and paper, or of course your favorite note-taking app, and get ready to take a lot of notes about what you're going to hear today. So, have you ever wondered how to get noticed and create brand awareness with Pinterest? Or maybe how to market your business on Pinterest? How to create content that gets shared, or how to drive traffic to your website, to your blog that increases sales, revenue, and cash flow? Well, of course you do, and sure you have, because, as much as there are so many of us that spend quite a bit of time on Pinterest and feel as if, oh my gosh, everybody has to understand Pinterest at this point, it's just not the case. Pinterest is still a fairly elusive social network when it comes to all of the different options of social networks out there. But here is what we absolutely do know at this point. If you want to succeed at Pinterest, and if you want to have sustainable growth with Pinterest, you're going to have to work smart. And that means putting a plan in place and taking a very integrated and strategic approach to Pinterest. And we're going to talk a little bit about that here today with the 9 growth hacks for Pinterest, and how you can really hack Pinterest to expand your website, expand your business, your blog, really expand your efforts in whatever you are doing. And I'll tell you, this is exactly how we are using Pinterest, and why we launched a Pinterest channel at Post Planner. We looked at our current presence over on Facebook, Google Plus, Twitter, Instagram, and then we really determined how could we strategically leverage all of those virtual assets that we already had? And we really believed, and I am a firm believer, that Pinterest could help us make some noise. And that is exactly what we did when we launched Pinterest for Post Planner. And we did it with the help of Tailwind. And as I said at the beginning, if you have not use Tailwind within your business yet, it is just an amazing tool, a strategic tool that allows you to come in and identify, what is that top content, what is content that's working, and then also help you get really consistent in your ability to share content over on Pinterest. And so that's why we have teamed up with Melissa and the team at Tailwind to share with you today how, with just a few hacks, some very simple tweaks to what you're already doing, you can kick your traffic, your sales, your profits into high gear. So you ready? You ready to get started? Because we are super excited to share with you all that we have really figured out, those secrets that we know to work, to share with you those today. So let's go ahead and let's dive in. So first and foremost, what we know about Pinterest is it's a hybrid discovery engine slash social media platform. So many people that I talk with say, "Oh, Rebecca, I don't know why in the world I would want to use Pinterest for my business. My audience isn't over there. The people that I'm looking to connect with, they're just not over on Pinterest." And I'm like, "Really? How do you know that? Do you know that's the absolute truth?" Because what we have found is every vertical imaginable is over there on Pinterest. And all you have to do is take a look, do your research to find that there is an audience over there for you, and they are actively looking for your content. And they are using Pinterest as that social media platform. They're using it to pin their content, to share their content, and then they're also using it as a discovery engine and a way to find other content that is relevant to them, to find content that either speaks to them, is exactly what they're looking for, or maybe it's similar to what they're pinning and they want to be able to share that with their community as well. So there's just a lot of different ways that people, your audience, is using Pinterest, and you just have to understand how you can tap into or hack Pinterest for SEO purposes. Now, another part of the SEO value within Pinterest is guided search. And you may or may not be familiar with this. It's a little bit newer to Pinterest. As of last year, I think Pinterest made a big leap with guided search. And in my opinion, really took SEO in a whole new direction. And the idea behind guided search is it's really pretty simple. It's to help users sift through the billions, and yes, I said billions. There's an awful lot of pin content over there on Pinterest. It's to help you sift through those billions of pins to find things that you didn't even know you were looking for. So it's just a super smart way for Pinterest to be able to start putting content in front of you that says, "Hey, look over here. This might be something that's really, really interesting to you." So, as you're starting to sift through that content, think about what is that content that's coming up for you, and then how are you going to be able to use that? How are you going to be able to leverage that for your own business? And I know as we talk about all of that content, those billions of pieces of content, you might find yourself wondering, okay, that's great. So I have competition over there. There's people searching for content, but how in the world am I going to break through and actually get found? And to us, to both, Post Planner, to Tailwind, to me, to Melissa, who have spent a lot of time on Pinterest. We've all been, just over there on Pinterest since the beta days and playing around. We know that the key is knowing a few secret hacks. It's knowing those hacks that are going to help you create and pin content that pushes you to the top of that mix and really helps you cut through that noise, because obviously that's what it's all about. It's all about helping you get found. It's helping your content get found and allowing other people to do those searches, to do that search, from an SEO perspective, to be able to help you make your way up to the top of that search dependent on what those keywords are. So, a big piece of helping you get found is using searchable keywords within your boards and within your descriptions. So, whether you have set up your Pinterest already, whether you're just getting started, the good news is you can always go back. You can always edit your board descriptions. You can always edit that information in a pin and update that if after today you realize, oh, shoot, I'm not using those keywords that people are searching for. So, first and foremost, take a look at what do you want to be known for as people are starting to research you, as they're starting to look for you. What is it that they're searching for, whether it's on Google, whether it's in Pinterest? What are they typing into search when they're looking for you? Well, for me, it might be social media. It could be social media marketing. For you, it might be small business. So, what are those keywords that people are searching for? And then, how can you use those within your board's descriptions so that you're helping that SEO, helping that search start to understand, oh, okay, this is what Rebecca is known for. These are the things that she has credibility or authority within. These are the topics that she is an expert on, and helping people identify and understand that's exactly what you're known for. And then again, be able to search for you and start to be able to find you. So, one of my favorite pinners and favorite bloggers is byregina.com. And Regina, if you have seen her on Pinterest, makes just these gorgeous pins that really stand out within the feed. But she's also super smart about how she uses her keywords and how she puts those into her boards and descriptions. So just start to think about that. And as I said, good news is you can always go back and you can always edit those if need be. So, next one is to find out what content is ranking already. And you can look to your Pinterest analytics. So, if you're using Pinterest for business, well, you better have your account connected to your analytics. If you haven't, do this immediately as soon as we're done. It's just an incredibly insightful way for you to be able to see what's going on with your account, your profile, with all of that content that you're pinning, whether it's proprietary content that you're pinning from your website and your blog, or maybe it's stuff that you're sharing. You need to know the activity and the engagement and the click throughs that are happening on that content. So you can take a look within your analytics and see, what is some content that's really ranking already? What is some content that's really doing well? And then start to think about, how can I expand upon that? How can I create more of that same type of content? Because as we know, there are certain aspects of our business that are very much a rinse and repeat situation. And when you find something that is working, when you find content that is resonating with your Pinterest audience, with your Pinterest followers, well, you want to be able to recreate that. You want to be able to do that over and over and over and again. And it could be the content, it could be the structure of your pin. And we'll talk a little bit about the images and obviously what a huge role that plays within getting found on Pinterest, but really start to look at what are those pins that are getting a significant amount of impressions? What are those pins that are receiving a whole lot of click throughs over to your website? And what about that content is making it just incredibly attractive to your followers, and then how can you maybe expand upon that topic? How could you take it one step further? How could you go deeper upon that? Maybe there's some bullet points that you missed, or maybe there's some updates that you could really hone in on. So think about, how can you use your analytics to really get inside the head of your followers, and how can you better understand exactly what type of content they're looking for so you can better create that content that's going to help you get found for not only what your followers are looking for, but also based off of those keywords that we talked about. So, a couple of different strategies there as you start to think about how you're using your analytics. And like I said, if you're not, make sure you get that set up, because just an incredibly important piece to your overall strategy to be able to continuously look to that, really understand, hey, what's working, what's not, what can I do more of, and then maybe what's not working. Because as much as none of us like to admit it, there's plenty of stuff we put out there that, if we unfortunately put it out there and it just, it hits the ground with a big thud, and it's not quite as popular as we thought it would be. And it could be because we're writing content or pinning content for us and not necessarily our audience. And analytics is going to pull you away from that and really help you start pinning and sharing content that's specifically for your audience and not for you. So, next one in helping get your content found is looking at Tailwind. Tailwind has this super cool feature. It's called a word cloud, where you can see what users are saying when they pin your content. And word clouds, I'm sure you're already familiar with them. They've been around forever. You see them within SEO, you see them on your website and on your blog. And it's just a really quick and easy way to see, what are others saying about your content? What words are they using within the descriptions when they're pinning your content? And again, another great way to get inside the head of your users and really understand, oh, okay, well, maybe there's a couple of words that I wouldn't have even thought about. I never even considered that this would be something that they would be interested in, or that they'd be using as a descriptive word about my business or my content. So, again, just another great way to do some research, better understand what people are looking for. And then the next one is hashtags, and hashtags are
And we've had,
interesting. Oh, sorry, Melissa, go ahead.
oh, no worries. I was just going to expand a little bit on the word cloud. One of the things that really surprised me when looking at our own word cloud was that people were pinning from our site and talking about design. So what we did was take that knowledge and start creating content around that. So how to design beautiful pins, how to design a beautiful profile. There's just a lot that you can do, calling back to the analytics to really focus in on what is working and get away from what you're pinning for yourself, not for your audience.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. It's just another one of those areas where you can come at it from that strategic point of view, and really take a look at what are those words that people are using. And isn't that funny? You found a word that you wouldn't have ever considered, and all of a
Mhm.
sudden that just opens up a whole new opportunity for you to maybe write content that's specifically designed for that audience in mind, and start pinning content that you could even create a whole new board specifically around those words that you find in that word cloud. So, great point. Next one are hashtags. And this one, Melissa and I have talked a lot about. Hashtags are really interesting in the world of Pinterest. And they are useful, yes, but not necessarily supported by Pinterest within search. So you may wonder what that means. And Pinterest, I think, in my opinion, is really trying to differentiate themselves. They're really trying to set themselves apart from every other social network in the sense that they haven't really supported the use of hashtags. And in fact, they're kind of um, even poo-pooing it, I guess, Melissa, would be a good way of putting it, in the sense that they don't want to see it become a situation where hashtags are spammy and overused. And we see them. We see them on Twitter, obviously. They are an incredible way to make connections with people. We see them over on Google Plus. We kind of see them on Facebook, not so much. They never really took off the way I think Facebook had hoped that they would. But we have never seen them be incredibly useful in the way that they are maybe on Twitter over on Pinterest. And I think one of the big reasons is because Pinterest has just never fully supported them. And there was a lot of trial and error initially where we thought, okay, let's test them here. And do they work here? And do they work here? And it was a little confusing as to, where could we use them and where could or how could we actually use them to help get our content found. So, just a few really helpful tips for you, some hacks with hashtags if you're not using them now, if you're not really familiar, or if maybe you're one of those people that has been overusing them. Some important things for you to know are that, yeah, hashtags can be super helpful. They can lead to being found on a category page. I use social media as an example. So that hashtag could, if you're using that, it could land you on that category page. But think about it, could also lead people to your competition if you're using a hashtag that's too broad or maybe too generic or is highly saturated, where a whole lot of people, social media, for example, are using that hashtag. And it might be very difficult for your content to get found or to get seen within a hashtag that is so heavily used. And then also, as I alluded to, and one really important thing for you to know is that hashtags are only clickable in your pin description. So there's a lot of different places that I have seen pinners use hashtags, everything from board titles to board descriptions, account descriptions, profile names. And unfortunately, the situation is, as I said, they're just not clickable. They're only clickable in your pin description. So as you're writing out your pin descriptions and as you're thinking about using hashtags, just be super smart in your usage of those. Be really smart in how you're identifying those hashtags, how you're using those hashtags, and then how you're inserting those hashtags into your pin descriptions. So, next up is reuse viral content from other platforms and other accounts. It's a great way for you to maybe find viral content on Post Planner and then repost that content over on Pinterest. So, whether it's your favorite article, maybe it's a blog post from somebody, make sure that you're cross promoting. And Melissa's going to talk more about that, but make sure you're adding that content from other platforms. And one great way to do that is to create new images for your own viral content. And Kim Garst with Boom Social, of course, just a fabulous example of somebody that creates these beautiful images. She shares them over on Facebook and then pins them over on Pinterest. So it's a really great way, again, to create branded images, really brand your business. As you see here, she's got her logo right there on this Facebook post, and then something she can easily pin over on Pinterest. She can share that across multiple social networks. So just a really great way to brand your business, but also be able to share that content, maybe that you're sharing on other social networks, with a whole new audience there over on Pinterest. Number three is embed boards. So highlight some popular pins on your website or your blog. And Pinterest makes this super easy for us to do with their widgets. There is a widget that allows you to just quickly and easily embed any board or any pin right there on your website or blog. And I use this on my blog to highlight some of my most popular pins. I have a couple of pins that have gone viral that are just, those pins that continue to come up in search. And I want to be able to spotlight those. I want to be able to show people that land on my blog, hey, look, this is what I'm, pinning over here on Pinterest. This is the content that I share on Pinterest. And this is the content that is getting a whole lot of pins over on Pinterest. So think about what are your most popular boards? What is your most popular content? What's content that has really taken off for you? And then how can you spotlight that by embedding that content over on your website or blog so that anybody landing on your website or blog is able to see, oh, hey, I didn't know that, you were over there on Pinterest, but cool, and then they can click right through, go over, follow your boards, and get connected with you right there on Pinterest. So don't miss the opportunity. We've talked a little bit about cross promoting your Pinterest account on social media, but don't miss the opportunity to also cross promote on your website or your blog. You're missing out on, all of those eyeballs, all of those readers, those people that are landing on your website or blog. And then add the pin it button. So if you're creating content, you're writing blog post, make it super, super easy for people to be able to pin your content. And both on my website as well as on the Post Planner website, we use a plugin, a WordPress plugin called Social Warfare. Absolutely love the ease of use of this plugin. And the beauty in this plugin is that you actually get to put in your branded Pinterest image right in there. So as people click on that pin it button, your branded image that you've created specifically for Pinterest will pop up. So for some of us, you might have a featured image, and that featured image on your blog is a different size than that longer Pinterest image that we know performs so well. So if you do have that scenario, it's nice to be able to create an opportunity where people can just quickly and easily pin that image you've created for Pinterest. So with a pin it button, you're giving them that ability to do that. So again, don't miss the chance to let people instantly pin your content, save your content, share your content with all of their followers on Pinterest as they're landing on your website or blog. Next one is number four, work with influential users within your industry. And Peg Fitzpatrick, the author of The Art of Social Media, obviously just a huge supporter of Pinterest and just somebody who is obviously highly influential within social media, but Pinterest as well. And it's a wonderful way for you to connect with influential users that are within your industry. Start sharing their content. Create that reciprocity where you're over there, you're sharing their content, you're actively pinning their content. And as with any other social network, the hope is that they're going to come back and they're going to do the exact same for you. So there's an enormous benefit in not just teaming up, maybe creating group boards where you're both pinning content to the same boards, but sharing other people's content that they're creating very relevant content that your followers are going to love, and doing that on a consistent basis so that those influencers can see that you're sharing their content and they can pop over, they can take a look at the type of content that you're sharing as well. And as I said, hopefully create that reciprocity where they're coming over and now beginning to share your stuff, because then what happens at that point? Well, now they've opened up your content to a whole new audience. So you have the opportunity to get in front of all of those people that are following them, and then the people that are following them. So it's just that snowball effect of hopefully getting your content in front of a whole lot more people. And we know what happens in that scenario. That's where the viral content comes in, and where all of a sudden you wake up and you go, holy cow, what happened? How did I get 1,000 pins on this? And it's because somebody influential, somebody picked up that pin and shared that pin or that content with their audience. So don't miss the chance to connect and engage and start pinning with influencers. And a very easy way to do that, or where to start finding influencers, is back to search right there within Pinterest. Pinterest makes it very easy for you to take a look at those keywords that you're using within your own content. So for me, again, it would be social media, and just type right within Pinterest search social media, and you'll be able to find all of that content there that is relevant. And then you can look at your pins, pinners, or boards. And so click on pinners, and you're able to start to maybe connect and follow and share other people's content. So super simple way to then just start engaging with them, sharing their content, interacting, and getting that interaction going.
All right, and that brings us to number 5. Cross promote your Pinterest page on your other social networks. So more mature channels like Facebook and Twitter have more users, and they have more developed targeting. Plus, since those have been around longer, there's a very good chance that you've already built up your audience and they're going to be interested in what you're pinning about. Not only that, but if you need a little boost to your Pinterest account, you can start testing some advertising on those platforms. And so Facebook has actually made it pretty easy. Um, our next slide shows Sephora using a plugin that's really simple. Once you sync your account with your Pinterest account with Facebook, you'll be able to hit the little more, select Pinterest, and then your boards will pop up there. It's a good way to just be very visible right there on your Facebook account. I know Sephora has millions of followers on Facebook, so whenever they hit that page, Pinterest is right there. And next up, we have an amazing example from Twitter. I love this example from Sunkist. They're not just putting the link and saying, hey, go follow us. They're actually explaining the benefits their fans are going to get if they follow. So they're going to get recipe, DIY ideas, lots of inspiration from their Pinterest account. And similarly, Brides Magazine on Google Plus has said, for all things wedding-y, love that word, follow us on Pinterest. And don't forget to repin your favorites from our white wedding board. They're calling out a specific board using the correct hashtags that are doing great on Google Plus. So they're taking advantage of Google Plus, those hashtags, and promoting their Pinterest account all in one go. And Pinterest doesn't always have to be the platform that's being promoted. You can also use Pinterest to promote your other accounts, specifically Instagram. One of the sort of frustrating things with Instagram is you can't have clickable links outside of the profile. So one of my favorite things that Tailwind has done recently is added the ability to share Instagram posts on Pinterest, like you can see Post Planner has done here. All you have to do is sync your Instagram account with your Tailwind dashboard, and you can schedule your Instagram post directly to Pinterest. And Post Planner's done a great job with their Instagram account using that viral content, creating new images like Rebecca was talking about, and using that not only on Instagram, also on Pinterest. Saves you a little bit of time creating content, and you're able to really use that viral push on both platforms. And similar to our last hack, you can include your Pinterest in your company newsletter. You can promote pins, new boards, your entire profile, certain blog posts with pin it buttons, whatever you want. On our first example, we have Ethan Allen, and they do a great job of promoting their Pinterest page on their newsletter by highlighting what they do best. They're helping those pinners with interior design. They're basically saying here, follow us on Pinterest, and we're going to make your home look like an Ethan Allen catalog. Who doesn't want that? On our next example, Fruit Loops is choosing to promote kids crafts that you can make using Fruit Loops rather than just promoting the box of Fruit Loops. That's not very engaging. People want to know what they can actually do with Fruit Loops other than eat it. They've made it super easy to share with the pin-up buttons, and plus it's pretty obvious what you're supposed to do. Share it, put it on Pinterest. This is perfect for Pinterest. And hack number 7 is to follow the right people. So similar to what Rebecca was saying with influencers, you can easily type in relevant keywords to find people and follow, and it's actually very important to follow the right people because you don't want an irrelevant newsfeed. By following people in the right category in your industry, you will have a feed full of shareable content that your audience is going to love and be interested in. It's a great way to find what's also being shared in your industry, what people are looking for, and again, it can help you know what to create and just what you're supposed to be doing on Pinterest. And when you do type in those keywords, you do need to be careful with what you're following. Don't follow too often. Pinterest might flag your account as spam. We don't have a magic number exactly, but 300 seems to be the limit just based on testing. So stick with following 50 to 100 relevant pinners or relevant boards to stay away from seeming spammy and not to overload your feed with just irrelevant content. And that leads us to hack number 8, run a Pinterest contest. At Tailwind, we've actually helped brands run contests, and they've been very successful. We've had a brand gain 13,000 email leads and another one that had 1,000 followers in a week. And with that said, they're incredibly powerful for propelling your brand, but you need to stay within Pinterest guidelines. Pinterest doesn't want you running those pin to win contests. So I'm sure you've seen them out there. They say pin to win, have the contest rules, and one of the rules is you're supposed to pin the contest rules pin. That's not a very engaging pin. Who wants to see that show up on their newsfeed? That's not something that can help them plan their wedding or plan a perfect vacation. It's just spammy. They also don't want you to require a minimum number of pins. So saying, we have this board, you need to pin 5 pins from this board. It's not allowed. They are trying to protect their core value of putting the pinner first and creating a very good experience on Pinterest. People don't want to go on Pinterest, see a bunch of contest pins, and not what they're actually interested in pinning about. And you also need to be careful with Pinterest branding. They don't want you to suggest that Pinterest is running the contest with you. So like if Tailwind decided to run a contest and called it Tailwind and Pinterest are bringing you the greatest contest ever, not okay. Can't do that. They also only allow their branding to be done in their specific color of red or in white. Other than that, it's against brands' guidelines, their brand guidelines.
This, just to jump in real quick, I know this is an area that is probably going to generate a lot of questions because there's a lot of confusion around this. Do you have a suggested location where people can go and really get up-to-date information on what is okay and what's not acceptable?
Business.pinterest.com is a great place to start. They have all of their brand guidelines there. We wrote a blog post a few years ago that needs to be updated, but that's, given me a good push to actually do that. But yeah, just looking at business.pinterest.com, they have downloadable PDFs that will tell you what's allowed, what isn't allowed, and working with a brand like Tailwind, there are some others out there that are part of the Pinterest Marketing Developer Partnership, they're the ones that are going to know what's allowed, what's not allowed, and keep you within Pinterest terms of service. It's very important. You do not want to be blocked by Pinterest.
Definitely not. Yeah, and that was my point. Always, 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 better to be safe than sorry.
Absolutely.
Gosh, I just had a conversation with a gal not very long ago who, for that exact reason, had her account shut down, and I think she had close to 25,000 followers, and she was working to reinstate her account, but it was a long, long process.
I
Uh,
hate to hear that.
Oh, I know. It's just tragic when you're using Pinterest for business, and this is a huge referral source for you. Obviously, it can be, devastating. So yes, definitely read through, ask a million questions. If you don't, if you're not completely clear, and Tailwind is a terrific resource for that, just to really understand what's okay and what's not.
Yep. Send me an email, send me a tweet, anything. We can definitely help you out. All right. And now for our final hack. Pin regularly and pin around the clock. And you might be asking, well, why do I need to be pinning all the time? For one, not everyone is going to be online when you're online. And being a marketer means you're a very busy person. As we mentioned in our intros, we're wearing a lot of hats. You don't, your 20 minutes a day to pin does not necessarily mean that's when everyone's going to be looking at Pinterest. And it's especially important if you're catering to an international audience. And also, pinning around the clock allows you to outsmart the smart feed, as I like to call it. Pinterest Smart Feed places more emphasis on the quality of a pin rather than the timing of a pin. And, while timing is still important, especially if you're creating really high quality, beautiful, engaging pins, you will have a better chance of surfacing in users' feeds and in content or in category feeds and search if you're pinning regularly. That's getting your name out there. That's showing Pinterest that you're engaging with the platform in a very intense way. And, call me biased, but I personally think Tailwind Scheduler is hands down the best out there. And with our scheduling, you can schedule your pins around the clock, either based on our suggested times, which go off of when your audience is actually engaged and online, or you can create your own schedule. We may not know best. You might know your audience best. And that way you can be the last thing those pinners are seeing before they go to sleep, dream about your brand a little bit, and also the first thing they see when they're checking their Pinterest in the morning, which is one of my first tabs open.
Well, and I think to your point, the important thing is to really know your audience, to really know who is it, that you're looking to connect with. Because for somebody that is a local business, it might be very different as to who you're looking to connect with, what times they might be online, as opposed to an international company that is looking to gain the attention of anybody around the world. So you really do have to understand and get inside, once again, get inside that head of your follower and know, how are they using Pinterest? Is it for, personal reasons? Is it professional? And my guess is it's probably a little bit of both. Understanding what type of content they're looking for, and then when are they online? When are they spending their time on Pinterest? And again, depending on your vertical, depending on the people you're looking to reach, it could be very, very different times. And unfortunately, not identifying what your best times to pin to Pinterest really are could be a big difference between the amount of traction you're getting on your pins. And it could be that situation where you're just thinking, wow, I'm just, none of my pins seem to be resonating with my followers, and it could just be that you're pinning at all the wrong times and they're just missing your content. So I wanted to just make sure that we kind of landed on that, because it's just so critical that, yeah, you need to be consistent and consistently sharing content, but you also need to be consistently doing it when your audience is actually online. Right, Melissa?
Abs- Yep, 100% right.
Yeah, so just to kind of highlight and go back through all of those hacks, those 9 Pinterest hacks that we talked about today. Um, First of all, it was Pinterest SEO. So, really tapping into the power of Pinterest and their hybrid discovery engine slash social media platform, and being able to help your content get found. I think that's probably one of the number one questions I get. Well, okay, the number one question is what kind of content should I create? And then it's, how do I get that content in front of my exact right audience? And so much of that is in Pinterest SEO, and letting Pinterest SEO do the heavy lifting for you, helping you really position your content in a way that people are searching for that. They're typing in your keywords, they're typing in that information that you're looking to get found for, and you're popping up within that search. And then the second one we talked about was hashtags, how to really use those hashtags in a way that helps you get found, but not in a spammy way. Somebody asked a question, and I'm going to bounce over real quick to the questions, because we've had some really terrific questions about hashtags and where should we be using those. And one of the questions was, should we be using hashtags in every single one of our pins? And Melissa, I'll let you go ahead and answer that if you want to.
Um, I would say be wary of hashtags. Only use it if, maybe you're running a specific campaign. One of the examples that I love is Nike uses it on Pinterest just to promote their different brands. So they have hashtag Nike, hashtag,
You're kind of cutting in
all
and
sorts of
out,
hashtags.
Melissa.
You get the idea.
Y-
And using it for am I okay? Sorry. It's
Yeah.
Oklahoma, so we have interesting weather here today. Hopefully that's not affecting it.
Yeah,
But
I know you do. Kind
yeah,
of
if you're
scary.
using hashtag, it's a little scary sometimes, but we make it through. Hashtags need to be specialized. They need to be only related to your brand if you're going to use them. Um, but my gut reaction is stay away from them. Pinterest is a very different social media platform. Only use it if it's within a campaign specifically related to your brand.
Hmm. Yeah, great
Hopefully I
advice.
didn't cut
And
out.
yeah, and like we talked about, not only that, getting really specific about how you're using them, but where you're using them. So it would be a really good idea to go back through your boards and maybe your profile and see where you've used them. And you can look at your profile, for example, if you've got hashtags in there. Don't take our word for it. Go play around and try to click on those hashtags. They just don't work. So make sure that you kind of clear that out, because there's no reason to put hashtags somewhere where they're just not usable or relevant, and really use that space to tell your story, explain who you are, express what your business is all about, and allow people to instantly understand who you are as they land on your profile. So, a good thing to do. After this webinar today, is just to go back through, take a look at your use of hashtags, how you've been using them, maybe clean some stuff up, and then clear out the clutter. if you've got some stuff in there that doesn't need to be there, and then start to think through how you're strategically going to use those going forward so that, yeah, people are finding you. They're able to find you based off of those keywords, but you're not using them so often that maybe you're pushing your followers towards your competition, or maybe that's an oversaturated hashtag that you need to kind of adjust how you're using those and find a hashtag that, yes, is just as relevant, but maybe a little bit less traffic. And by that I mean it's still an active hashtag. People are still using it, but you have a better chance of surfacing to the top and getting found based off of that. So you might have, two or three different hashtags. You might have a few different ones that are very relevant to your content and just allow you to get found and get seen based off of that keyword specifically geared towards your business, like Melissa said. The next one was reusing viral content. So, using tools to identify what is that content that is already proven that it's working, and then how can you find that content and bring that over to Pinterest. And there's so many different ways to do that. Of course, we shared here today how to use search, so searching for those keywords, those hashtags, and being able to find content that has been pinned over and over and over again that is just fantastic content, and content that's just incredibly relevant to your audience. So go ahead and start looking for that viral content and then pass it along. And then create new images. This is a big area that I see is often overmissed, where you're not creating images that are specific to your company, that are branded for your business. And Canva is a wonderful tool. I think we're all probably pretty familiar with Canva at this point. Use a tool like Canva to create those images, like I had shared with Kim Garst, who does such a beautiful job with her images. And I had mentioned Peg Fitzpatrick, who does the same exact thing. You could spot their branded images a million miles away, because you just know that every time you land on one of them, that is, just without a shadow of a doubt, that is their content. And you know that that's great content that you're going to be able to share. So think about your company, what represents your company. So everything from your look and feel, so your colors to your logo, make sure and incorporate those, your font, into your pins. And if you don't feel comfortable in creating your pins, well, then give it away. Find somebody that is great at graphic design that can help you with that, and that can help you better align your pins to your brand. Because if you're not, like I said, you're missing that opportunity to really stand out in the feed, to really allow people to connect with you on that level. Because I'm certain if you are a content creator, if you're out there creating content across the web, you've created that branded feel, that branded experience, and you want to extend that over to Pinterest in a way that allows people to just instantly know that that is your content. So think about not only what that's going to look like for you, but then those tools that you can use. Canva is integrated right into Post Planner. So if you haven't used Post Planner to find viral content, the way I know Kim and her team uses it is to find that viral content and then recreate it so that it is a branded image exactly for her, designed for her, and then pin that and then share that across all of her social networks. So think about what's that going to look like, but then also what are those tools that you're going to be able to use to easily and quickly be able to create that content. And then the next hack was embedding those boards right into your website or your blog. So going to Pinterest, There is that widget. If you just Google Pinterest widgets, you'll find exactly what we're talking about, where you just grab the URL from a board, from a pin, and you just quickly and easily drop that into that widget. It's going to give you some code that either you or your web developer can drop right into Pinterest or right into your website or your blog and share, highlight what that board or that pin is that has done really well for you. And you do that by taking a look at your Pinterest analytics, which we talked a little bit about that too, and really diving in and understanding what are people pinning, what are people sharing, what are they clicking through on, and what is it that they're really connecting with. So share those pins, share those boards on your website or blog as kind of a call out to say, hey, everybody that's landing on my website or blog, I'm also over here on Pinterest and I'm pinning all kinds of cool stuff that you would probably love if you love my blog. So you're helping them follow you over there and check out your content over there. And that is just such an incredibly important piece, that cross promotional piece, as you think about how is Pinterest supporting everything else that you're doing. And that is just really a critical piece to your success as well, is that Pinterest isn't just a one-off tactic. It's not a one-off social channel that is out there and should just be sitting alone by itself. It is something that should be integrated into your website, into your blog, into all of your other marketing and your online marketing that you're doing currently within your business. So, how can it become that pillar to help you? Work with influential users within your industry, cross promote, as we talked about, including your newsletter, follow the right people, run a contest, and then pin regularly. So, pin around the clock. Again, just another critical piece to ensuring that people are seeing you, that they're finding you, and that they're connecting with your content on a regular basis. Because it's all fine and good if you have a Pinterest account, but if nobody knows about it, what good does it do you? So you want to make sure that you are active, that you're on there, that you're pinning content that people are actually seeing, because you've identified what times they're actually on there and they're pinning. So thank you to everybody for being here. Really quick, just want to extend a couple of offers to you for joining us here today, and then also let you know about our next upcoming webinar, which is going to dive really deep into Pinterest, helping you really expand your efforts. We're going to talk about just a lot of different ways, and I'll share with you all of the details in just a quick second here. But would love to see you get involved, get started today with Post Planner and their scientifically proven viral content that is going to help you triple your likes, shares, follows, and clicks. And you can do that. Today, we are giving you a 30% off the Love Annual Plan. That means it's just $5 per month. $5 per month. I mean, who can't invest in that? The coupon is My Love TW, that's for Tailwind. So My Love Tailwind. And you'll see right below there a bit.ly Post Planner Pins is where you can go to access that. And quite honestly, if you just go to postplanner.com, you're going to find it and you can enter that coupon code as well. So I don't want you to worry that if you miss that bit.ly, that Post Planner Pins, that you're going to miss out on it. It is good for the next 5 days. We'll be tweeting about it. We'll be sharing it. We are recording this. We'll be sending out a recording of this webinar. And if all of those ways don't make it back to you and you forget what this is, as Melissa said, we are around. You can connect with us personally. Across any of our social networks. We've been tweeting out all of this information here today. So if you have questions, if they didn't get answered, please feel free to reach out to us. And then Melissa, you want to share what you guys have going on over there at Tailwind?
Sure. Yeah, so we offer a free pin-based trial. There's no time limit. It's just your trial run out after you schedule your first 100 pins. That's it. No time. take your time, all that. And signing up is really simple because all you have to do is click login with Pinterest, and our direct Pinterest integration will get you up and running. There's no need for you to share your password with us. It's completely safe. We are also offering 30% off of our annual plus plans or 30% off of your first 3 months with our monthly plan. And to do that, you just need to go to tailwindapp.com and click on login with Pinterest. And after that, after you're logged in, create your account, go to bit.ly/pinhack. Looks a little bit funny down there, but bit.ly/pinhack, and you'll have that coupon automatically applied to your account.
Awesome. All right. So, just to wrap up, just to share a little bit about our next webinar, which is going to be June 8th, same time, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. And this is all about profiting from Pinterest. So, how to use Pinterest to connect with your target market, how to create content your audience actually cares about. Who doesn't want to do that? Steps to create a reliable stream of traffic to your website and blog, and then why and how you must leverage other social channels to boost channel awareness. So we would love to see you there. We will be sharing the link to that, all of that content across our social networks. So make sure, as I said, to connect with us there. But otherwise, thank you, thank you, thank you. I know we have a ton of questions. Melissa and I will stick around for a little bit, a few minutes after this, and try to get as many questions answered as we can. But as I said, if we miss yours, we really apologize. So just please reach out to us and ask us anywhere. You can find us across social media. I am at Rebecca Radice or at Post Planner. And then Melissa, give us your handles real quick again.
I am at melmeg with 2 G's and also at tailwind.